Racism is a mental illness. Is racism a mental illness? Right now, that the last time Donald Trump was in office, um, more racist people started surfacing. More his race, I call them his racist minions, started surfacing, coming forth, and you started hearing about more, racial um, incidents um, of just random white people just targeting black people, mostly black women. And I'm starting to hear those cases, those situations are starting to get on the rise now, where white people, racist white people, are starting, now that Trump is back in office. Those racist white people are starting to um, um, mess with black people, random black people. And this channel on YouTube called Indisputable Facts, he does an excellent job. I can't remember his name. Indisputable Facts, but he does an excellent job talking about these racist incidents and stuff where these people are doing these racist things. He does an excellent job of covering those. He covers several of them a day, and they're always popping up in my recommendations. So I just be steady clicking out. Like, I don't really like to think about racism like that. Um, it kind of breaks my spirit, and I don't like to ponder on things that break my spirit. And racism infuriates me, and like I say, it breaks my spirit, and I don't like pondering on things for too long that break my spirit, because I'm trying to keep my spirits up. I'm trying to keep my spirits up as much as possible, and so I don't like to ponder on things that break my spirit, and that's one of the things that I don't like to ponder on, that that breaks my spirit, is racism. But more and more, that happened the last time that Trump was in office. These racist people started getting, you know, getting brave and coming out and trying to attack random black people. They're mostly targeting black women, because they think that we're not protected. Some black women are protected, because we black women, we have loved ones. We have loved ones. Okay, we do have people that love us, that will protect us. Okay, and we have God. So sometimes it's a little bit. You know, I guess they say black women as a collective, are not protected, because our men act as if they don't want to protect us. But a lot of us black women, we have loved ones. We have loved ones that love us, that will protect us. But anywho, um, the lady that, I think I was on the blog where they were talking about the lady that called the baby the N word in the park. That lady, um, Shiloh something is her name. I did a video. I'm gonna probably link that video up to this one, but I did a video talking about her. And she called the baby the N word in the park. And she collected a lot of money. A lot of people, she lost her job, so a lot of people donated money to her. And so I was basically saying, she gets rewarded for being a racist. And I was watching a panel. Piers Morgan was on this. Was that his name? Piers Morgan was on this panel with like four. I think it was four other people. And this white lady on here, on there, was saying that she says the N word, and she batted no bones about it. She batted no bones about the fact that she said the N word. And Piers Morgan, I really appreciated Piers Morgan for that. I thought that Piers Morgan was kind of racist myself, but Piers Morgan, um, he got on her about that. This lady was on this panel, And she batted no bones about the fact that she says the N-word. She said, I say it, and I don't feel, and yeah, and Piers Morgan got on her. He got on her about it. And I said, you know what, thank you. I really appreciated him for that. I really appreciated it. I was very impressed by that because I frankly thought he was a little racist. Well, there's no such thing as being a little racist. It's like being a little pregnant. But he got on her about that. I really appreciated Piers Morgan for that because I have to give him credit where credit is due because he spoke up. He spoke up and he told her, he said, you're despicable. He said, you're a despicable human being. Because she was like saying, yeah, I say it. So what? Yeah. Yeah. I think I think white women can be worse than the men. I think the white women, not all white women, but I'm not saying all white women, but I'm just saying I'm telling you, the racist white women can be worse than the men. I don't know if they're more because they're more emotional with it. The white women are more emotional with it, I think, but they could be worse than the men. Did you know that during slavery, 40% of slave owners were white women? Did you know that? 40% of slave owners were white women back in slavery because what happened was when the plantation owners passed away, they passed over the plantation to the daughters. If they didn't have sons, they passed the plantation over to the daughters for the daughters to run the plantation. So a lot of times those plantations were inherited. The white women that ran the plantations were inherited. They got inherited from their fathers that passed on. Yeah, 40%. That's a high percentage, isn't it? 40% of white women were plantation owners, slave owners. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes, they were. And I say I really feel like sometimes they can be worse than the men. They can be worse than the men at times. I mean, because you hear a lot of these Karen incidents where these random. I just heard just one recently with this older white guy tried to attack this black lady, and she had to get him together. Um, I seen that one, and you hear about these little Karen incidents where these white women are just going off on random black people that just minding. There was one where this black lady was in the park and this white lady was. I just seen the caption of that. I didn't click on that. I just seen the caption. Indisputable facts. That brother does an excellent job. He does an amazing job covering those topics. It's just he covers several of them a day. But it's like I said, I don't like to ponder on it because it breaks my spirit. It makes me angry and it infuriates me and it breaks my spirit. So I don't like racism is not something that I like. See, white folks think we're thinking about racism all the time. No, we're not. Most black people do not think about racism all the time. We're just trying to be a human being out here. I'm just trying to be a human being out here. I'm just trying to live. I'm just trying to live. I'm just trying to live my life the best way I can live it. I literally out here just living the best way I'm trying to live. I'm just living, trying to live the best I can as a human being, pretty much. And racism is not something that I want to think about all the time. And I don't think white folks thinking that we always trying to say white folks are racist. No, I don't. I don't. I'm the type of person I like to try to see the good in everybody. I'm the type of person I like to try to see the good in everyone. And unless it's in my face and unless it's right there in my face or it's right there and I can't deny it, because I'm going to call it out. If I see it, I'm going to call it out. But do I go around looking for it? No. Most black people don't go around looking for racists. Most of the time we don't even want to be thinking about that. But if it's right there in your face, you got to call it out. If a police officer profiles you and just stop you for no doggone good reason and you a black man, well, you got to call that out. You got to call it out. That's racist. If that cop ain't got no reason to stop you, but he's stopping you because black men are mainly the ones that are targeted. Sometimes black women are, but racial profiling, I know I was racially profiled once most of the time they target black men, and they target black men driving nice cars because they automatically assume that they done stole the car. So if you a black man and you driving a nice car and a cop stop you and he ain't had no reason to stop you, okay, well, you got to call that out. You got to call it out. You got to call it what it is. It's racist. And so if some racism is blatantly in your face, or a racist individual comes up to you blatantly being racist, or they're mistreating you, and there's absolutely no rhyme or reason for them to mistreat you. You know, random. We ain't talking about, you got to call it out. You just got to call it for what it is. It's racism. Okay? But do we go around just looking for no. Not most of the time. I don't even be thinking about racism. Because I got too much going on. I got too many other things going on in my life to be focused on racism. But right now, since Trump is in office, these more racist people are starting to surface. That happened the last time he was in office. He gave him the green light. He talks in code, and he gave him the green light. He gives them the green light. So they think that because he's in office that they can, they're more bolder. They come out more bolder and stuff like that. And so black people need to be on the lookout and be aware of that. But anywho, with that being said, the lady that called the child the N-word in the park, the NAACP is petitioning, or they're trying to get charges filed on her. The NAACP is trying to get charges filed on her. They're trying to get some charges up on her. And so I'm glad that the NAACP is on that, because that's you don't call no child that. You don't call no child that. That's not just a word. You don't call no child that. So and it's a form of harassment. It's a form of harassment. So the NAACP is trying to rally a lobby to get charges filed against her. Knowing that white privilege and power, they might not do it. The judicial system is mainly ran by white folks, so they might not do it. You know what I'm saying? But I really appreciate the NAACP for going up to bat for that. I really do. And then somebody said, I think I read somewhere, allegedly, where a GoFundMe or a collection was being taken up for the baby, because I posed that question in the last video. I said, isn't someone taking up a collection for that baby and his parents, because they could be traumatized for that. So yeah, I believe a collection or GoFundMe or something has been started for the little boy and his family. Absolutely. And then the man that called the lady out in the park, that man, he has a GoFundMe too, because people are making, I think he's having to move. People are have been threatening him. He's been getting death threats and stuff like that because he recorded it. Because he called her out and he recorded it. Now he's messed up now. So they've been taking a collection up for him so he can relocate. So see, that's sad. That's just sad. That's just sad and I really appreciate that man for speaking up. And he said he filmed it because he wanted to call some attention to this and make people realize that this is wrong. And I really, really admire his courage in that situation. And I really hope that God blesses him to get relocated. And I hope that God will keep him and his family safe in that situation. So, because I really appreciated that man for doing that. And so it's really sad that we live in this country. It's really sad that in the 2025 we still got to deal with this. We still have to keep revisiting this racist thing. We still gotta keep, as black people, we gotta still keep dealing with this. In 2025, we gotta still keep dealing with it. And it's a horrible black cloud that just looms over America. And just white folks just need to give it up. And more white people we need more white people speaking out. We got some white folks that speaks out, but we need more white people speaking out against racism. That's what we need. We need more white people really speaking out, and other races too need to get on board, speaking out against racism. We need that. We need that, because it's the message is more powerful coming from their own people. We try to speak out against it, they deflect. They do this. Hold on now. White fragility. Keep that book in the car because I'm planning on doing a book review on it and I haven't done it yet. But yeah, they do white fragility, and they deflect, and they do all this other stuff, and they shoot us down, and they call us liars and all this kind of stuff, and they turn around and call us a racist. We try to speak out against it, they call us a racist. So then they don't receive it coming from us. When we try to speak out against it, it's totally, white people do not receive it coming from us. They don't receive it at all. But it's more powerful, way more powerful, coming from their own people. When their own people shed a light on it, it's way more powerful, and they're more prone to listen, But anywho, they say racism. I'm totally getting off topic. Well, no, it's on topic. I'm on topic. It's just that some of that when I was gonna make that a separate video where they said that they were the NAACP were gonna file charges or try to petition for charges to be filed on that lady. I was gonna make that a separate video, so I decided to incorporate that into this video. But anywho, they say racism, real quick, like racism is a mental illness. No, it's not. I don't like, because they were talking about that. And somebody said racism was a mental illness. And I've heard that being said before. That racism is a mental illness. And no, I do not agree. I disagree that racism is a mental illness. Racism is not a mental illness. Racism is it's a heart illness, is what it is. Racism is a heart problem. It's not a mental illness. It's a heart problem. That's what racism is. It's a heart problem. You got a heart problem. If you racist, you gotta deal with what's going on in your heart. It's evil and it's demonic. It's not a mental health issue. And I hate it. I really, really hate it when people say that, because when I hear people say racism is a mental health issue, instantly the main thing that pops up in my head is you're making excuses for it. That's the first thing that pops up into my head when people say that. They're making excuses for it. And there is absolutely no excuse to be racist. That's a heart problem. It ain't a mental problem. It's a heart problem. Okay? There's no reason and no excuse for nobody to be racist. No reason. Okay? There's no reason to be racist. Okay? None whatsoever. If you're racist, you got issues going on in your heart that you need to fix. And only God can help you with that. You need to figure out why you have such a big issue with black people and other races. You got to figure out why. Okay, because is it because of you were brought up that way, you were raised up that way? That ain't no excuse either. That's no excuse either. Was your family that way and that's why you that way? That ain't no excuse either. That's no excuse either. See, there is absolutely no excuse to be racist. Because God created us all. Actually, to tell you the truth, everybody come from us. Because black people, that's another video. Black people were the first people here. Everybody come from us. Y'all come from us. Y'all from the Caucasus Mountains. Y'all come from us. Some archaeologists digged up some bones from hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years ago. Found out when none but some black people. Mm-hmm. Yes, they digged up some bones from hundreds. We're talking hundreds of years ago. Hundreds of years ago. And they found out, they did the research on them and found out it was some black folks. Them bones belong to some black people. Black people were the first people on the earth. So everybody else after that come from us. And did you also know that black people are allegedly, I'm going to do more personal research, but I've heard this. Black people are the only race of people that have 100% human DNA. I'm going to do a little research, more research on it, but yeah. Yes. I said, isn't that something? I said, all the times they tried to say we wasn't human or try to treat us like we wasn't human and try to say we were animals. Isn't that interesting? It comes to find out we got more human DNA than they do. So it don't make no sense to be racist. If you're a white person and you go on ancestry.com and do your check your genetics, on down the line, there's probably some black folks in your family because of slavery. A lot of white folks got black people on down the line in their family. Do that DNA test, and find out how much African you got in your blood. Yeah, it's because of slavery, because the slave masters hooked up with the black woman and they had the mixed babies. Yes. Because they were the only ones that were allowed to survive. If a black man happened to get a white woman pregnant, which is rare, then they unalive the child. But if the white masters had babies with the black women, those were the only children that were allowed to survive. Okay? A lot of so on down the line, there's a lot of white folks on down the line got some black DNA in there somewhere. You got some Africa in you somewhere. And most likely, 9 times out of 10. Okay? Ain't nobody 100% of nothing. You got some black DNA in you somewhere. So if you hate black people, you will hate a part of yourself. And a lot of black people got some European DNA. Don't make no sense for black people to be hating on white folks because it's because of slavery. It's because of slavery. I'm not supposed to be this color. I'm supposed to be a lot darker than this. If I was, I'm supposed to be darker. I'm supposed to be darker. And a lot of us, black people, have some European, yes. Otherwise, more of us would be dark. There wouldn't be no different skin tones. It's because of slavery. All that mixing that went on in slavery. Yes. So racism is stupid. It doesn't even make any sense. God created, at the end of the day, God created us all. Racism is stupid. He created us all. And racism is not a mental... Hit me up in the comment section if you think that racism is a mental illness. It is not a mental illness. It's an excuse. There is no reason or an excuse for you to be racist. If you're a racist, it's a heart condition. You need to pray and ask God to help you turn it around. Because it was this white man, he was a skinhead. I think he was a skinhead. I can't remember who this was. God changed him. God changed his heart. He allowed God, because God can't do nothing unless you allow it. He allowed him, God, to change. He asked God to change his heart. God changed his heart. And he was either a KKK or I think he was a skinhead. And he had, tattoos and stuff all over the place. Do you know he went in and got every last one of them tattoos removed? He said it was painful, but he got it done. And that man turned his heart, he turned his life around, and he changed his heart. So God can do it. God can change your heart, but you got to pray and ask him to change you. You got to pray and ask God to change you. I love everybody. I love everybody. I don't have no hatred in my heart for nobody. Okay. I got two nieces that are white. Well, I call them check my community tab. I put pictures of both of them on my community tab. Um, they're I call them my bonus nieces, because me and their mother was real close friends back in the day. And I remember, I literally know them ever since they've been into the world. Ever since they came into the world, from a baby on up. They actually have a brother too. From a baby on up, I've been knowing them ever since they've been in the world, literally. And so me and their mother was real close friends at one time. And so I've been knowing them ever since they've been in the world. And so they hold a special place in my heart, you know. And so I look at what's in here. I don't look at people's race. I have a close friend that we've been friends for years, you know. And I just don't look at race. I look at what's in here. I look at what's in a person's heart. I don't look at race. I don't judge people by their race. I judge people by the content of their character. And that's what we need to learn to do. We need to learn to judge people by the content of their character and not their race. It's not about what people look like on the outside. It's about what's in here. It's about what's in the heart, not about what people look like. Get away from that. Get away from worrying about what people look like on the outside and people's skin color. Look at the content of the character, the content of what's in the heart. That's more important. But stop making excuses for racism. I was brought up that way. It's a mental illness. No, it's not. No, it's not. It's an excuse for you to continue to go around being hateful. And there ain't no reason to go around calling babies that N-word. That word needs to be, they need to make it against the law for that word to be used, and they shouldn't allow it to be put in the music no more. That word needs to be banned. Black people shouldn't be using it. White people shouldn't be using it. There needs to be a federal ban on that word. If you get caught using it, you're going to get punished. And they need to ban it from the music. And I don't care about no freedom of speech when it comes to that word. It shouldn't be no freedom of speech when it comes to that word. But hit me up in the comment section. Let me know what you think. Hit that like button. And I'll see you guys later. You guys be blessed.